I'm Litsa Johnson, and this trimester I am lucky enough to have your student in my social justice class. Ordinarily, for every other curriculum night ever, I've made slideshows and presentations, and they've been like clicky and interactive, and not that that's not fun, but I thought maybe this time we would just talk. And right now, this is me talking to you, a little bit talking at you, but I certainly do invite you to respond. Please feel free to shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any thoughts or questions, or you'd like to let me know anything at all about your student. So I have my little list of what I want to make sure to remember to talk to you about. So if you see me glancing away, I'm making sure I'm on track. Social justice is a one-trimester elective. I teach 2 different social justice courses here. The one that I am teaching this trimester focuses on race and ethnicity, sex and gender, and sexual identity. We will be covering those in sort of a mixed up order: gender, and then race and ethnicity, and then sexual identity. And I tend to do it in that order because generally that is the order of most comfort to least comfort in terms of discussion as far as students go. So we start with where people are a little bit more comfortable talking about the things involved, and then we elevate to the more challenging conversations as we get to know each other. So that's why the order. Of course, they overlap a lot, right? That's the whole concept of intersectionality. So they overlap with each other a lot. We can't talk about gender without also talking about race, without also talking about sexual identity, without also talking about socioeconomic status, without also talking about et cetera, et cetera. So we talk about the overlaps a lot, of course, but generally that's the way that we will move through this trimester. In terms of strategies and materials, I try as much as possible to bring voices other than mine into the classroom because, of course, I only represent a very limited range of genders and races and sexual identities and so on. I'm only one person. And in our classroom, we have, right now, only a total of 20 people, which is still, it's more of a range, certainly, but it's still not, really representative of the whole world, or the United States, which is where most of our focus is. So I like to bring in readings. I like to bring in TED Talks. When possible, I like to bring in presenters. So if you know of people who are activists in any of the communities that we're covering, please do, with their permission, of course, connect us. I'd love to invite them in. So just trying to bring in as many voices as possible, and also really focusing on learning from each other. And I would argue, maybe not most importantly, but certainly up there, is learning from ourselves and our own experiences and how our way of living and our history of being, how that impacts who we are, how we exist in the community, and what impacts we continue to have. So social justice is a class people often come in expecting to learn a lot about other people, which is true, we do that. But done right and done well, we learn a lot about ourselves too, which is really important. So as far as grading goes, you might right now be like, well, it sounds really tough to grade. Like, how do you determine when somebody is socially just, right? Like, you're there, A+, you're socially just. And of course, that's not really how it works. So I am extremely excited. This trimester, we are going to be doing social justice as an ungraded course. So that means it is pass-fail, and everybody's passing. The focus is really going to be on the learning and the community interaction and the reflection and feedback between students in the classroom and me and each other all going around. We're keeping journals. They'll turn the journals in periodically so I can write back and give them feedback. And so I want to emphasize that no grading does not mean no learning, and it does not mean no feedback. What it means is that we are putting the focus exclusively on the learning and the growing and the process and the relationship and the feedback and all of those pieces fitting together, not trying to quantify something that is really very difficult to quantify. How socially just you are, how socially aware you are. That said, a general scale to help understand, for students to understand how am I progressing along, how's my depth of thinking going. If we think of level 1 as being aware of a concept, right? So sexism, for example. Let's say level 1 is like, sexism exists. Okay, great. I mean, not great, but we understand. Level 2 is sexism exists as a system, and I understand more or less how it works. Generally, I get how the system of sexism is upheld and perpetuated. Okay, cool. Level 3 is where we're getting to the real challenge and the meeting standard point, is I understand how I fit into this system. So I understand how this system impacts me, and I understand how I impact this system and the impact I have on people living within this system. And then level 4, the above and beyond, to the stars and back, infinity and beyond, all that. Level 4 is I can have an impact. I can make a difference. I can reach out. I can take action. So it's about deciding to make positive change as a result of your understanding. So I'm super excited for this trimester. I absolutely love teaching social justice. I've been teaching it for, I think, 6 years now. 5 years, 6 years, something like that. And every single group is different, and every single group is wonderful. And I am so, so grateful for the opportunity to get to engage with your student. Thanks so much.